Henri Bergson, 1859–1941, was one of the most influential French philosophers of the early 20th century, known for his contributions to metaphysics, the philosophy of time, and his concept of evolution. His major work, Creative Evolution, L'Evolution Créatrice, published in 1907, represents his most sustained engagement with the question of evolution, offering a philosophical alternative to the mechanistic theories of Charles Darwin and others. Bergson's central argument is that life is driven by an internal force that cannot be fully explained by materialist or deterministic models. The context of creative evolution. Creative evolution was written in the context of the intellectual upheaval generated by Darwin's theory of evolution, which had been widely accepted as the dominant explanation for biological diversity and the process of natural selection. Darwin's theory emphasized the survival of the fittest, competition, and the slow, gradual adaptation of species to their environment. Many philosophers and scientists, particularly in Bergson's time, interpreted evolution as a purely mechanical and deterministic process governed by fixed laws. However, Bergson saw limitations in this view. He believed that life, particularly human consciousness, could not be fully captured by mechanistic or reductionist models. While he accepted evolution as a fact, he rejected its prevailing scientific explanations as too limited to account for the richness and creativity of life. In Creative Evolution, Bergson sets out to develop a philosophical explanation of evolution that emphasizes creativity, novelty, and the unpredictable forces that shape life, vitalism and the élan vital. One of Bergson's most famous concepts in creative evolution is the élan vital, or the vital force, which he posits as the driving force behind the evolution of life. According to Bergson, this force is not merely a mechanical process but a creative one. The élan vital is a dynamic, creative energy that continually generates new forms of life, introducing novelty into the world. Bergson's vitalism contrasts with the mechanistic model that sees evolution as driven by blind, deterministic forces like natural selection. For Bergson, life is not a machine that unfolds according to predetermined rules. Instead, it is an ongoing, creative process, similar to the way a work of art emerges through the creative act of an artist. Life, in this view, cannot be reduced to matter or explained entirely through physical or chemical processes. There is always an element of spontaneity and unpredictability in the way life evolves. The concept of élan vital implies that evolution is not entirely random, as suggested by some interpretations of Darwinism. Bergson's model acknowledges a directionality in the development of life, but it is not a teleological direction, i.e., one aimed at a final goal. Instead, the process of evolution is seen as open-ended and creative, constantly generating new forms of life in response to challenges and opportunities. Time and duration. A key aspect of Bergson's philosophy, which underpins his theory of evolution, is his distinction between two kinds of time. Time is understood by science, which he calls spatialized time, and duration, la durée, which is his concept of real time or lived time. Spatialized time is measured by clocks and scientific instruments, divided into distinct, measurable units. This kind of time, according to Bergson, is an abstraction and does not capture the true nature of time as we experience it in life. By contrast, duration refers to the lived experience of time as a continuous flow, not as something that can be broken down into discrete parts. In lived time, moments do not follow one another like beads on a string. Instead, they blend into one another, creating a dynamic, fluid experience. Bergson argues that living beings experience time as duration, where each moment is infused with the memory of the past and the anticipation of the future. In Creative Evolution, this notion of duration is crucial to understanding the process of life. Evolution, for Bergson, does not happen in a series of discrete steps or stages, as one might think if one only looks at fossils or genetic changes. Instead, evolution is an unfolding process that happens in real time, as living beings respond to the challenges of their environment, incorporating their past experiences and projecting toward the future. In this sense, evolution is not mechanical but organic, fluid, and creative, just like the flow of lived time. Intuition versus intellect. Another important theme in creative evolution is Bergson's critique of intellect and his advocacy for intuition as a complementary way of knowing. He argues that the human intellect is well suited to understanding matter and physical processes, but it falls short when it comes to grasping life and evolution. The intellect tends to break things down into static categories and concepts, making it difficult to understand the fluid, dynamic nature of life. Bergson believes that intuition, by contrast, allows us to grasp life in its totality. Intuition is a direct, non-conceptual way of knowing that immerses us in the flow of duration and helps us understand the creative process of evolution. For Bergson, intuition is not opposed to science or reason, rather, it complements them by providing insight into the aspects of life that cannot be fully captured by intellectual analysis. In Creative Evolution, Bergson uses the metaphor of a tool to illustrate the difference between intellect and intuition. The intellect, he argues, is like a tool that is designed to manipulate matter. It is useful for understanding the physical world and for developing technologies that allow humans to control their environment. But life itself is not a tool, it is not something that can be manipulated or fully understood through mechanical processes. To understand life, we need intuition, which allows us to experience the flow of duration and the creative force of evolution from within. The role of consciousness. In Creative Evolution, Bergson also explores the role of consciousness in evolution. He argues that the development of consciousness is one of the most significant aspects of evolutionary history, and he offers a novel account of how consciousness emerges and evolves. Bergson suggests that life is characterized by a tension between the need for survival, which leads to the development of mechanistic habits and routines, and the creative impulse to transcend these routines and explore new possibilities. Consciousness, according to Bergson, emerges as a solution to this tension. It allows living beings to break free from the automatic, habitual responses that characterize mechanical life and to respond creatively to new challenges. In this sense, consciousness is not simply a byproduct of evolution, as some materialist theories suggest. Rather, it is a central aspect of the evolutionary process, enabling life to become increasingly free, flexible, and creative. Bergson's account of consciousness is closely linked to his concept of duration. Conscious beings, he argues, are able to experience time as duration, which allows them to anticipate the future and learn from the past. This ability to transcend the immediate present is what makes consciousness a powerful tool for evolution, enabling living beings to adapt to their environment in more creative and flexible ways. Influence and criticism. Creative evolution had a profound impact on a wide range of intellectual fields, from philosophy to psychology to biology. Bergson's ideas influenced thinkers such as William James, Alfred North Whitehead, and even Marcel Proust, whose literary explorations of memory and time bear the imprint of Bergsonian philosophy. However, Bergson's work has also faced significant criticism, particularly from scientists and philosophers who argue that his vitalism and reliance on the élan vital are scientifically untenable. Critics contend that his rejection of mechanistic explanations and his emphasis on intuition over intellect are not compatible with the empirical methods of science. Nevertheless, Bergson's work remains a vital contribution to the philosophy of evolution, offering a powerful alternative to reductionist and deterministic models of life. In Creative Evolution, Henri Bergson presents a deeply original and provocative view of life and evolution, one that emphasizes creativity, spontaneity, and the dynamic nature of existence. His concept of the élan vital and his distinction between spatialized time and duration challenge traditional scientific accounts of evolution, offering a vision of life as a continuous process of becoming. While his ideas have sparked debate and controversy, Creative Evolution remains a foundational text for understanding the philosophical implications of evolution.